Hello, and welcome to the SomerKnits Knitting Podcast, episode 47. Hello, and welcome to, or welcome back to the SomerKnits Knitting Podcast. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you are a returning viewer, I thank you so much for coming back again and again. I appreciate each and every one of you. There's not a ton of admin to get through today. I just wanted to remind people that the Holiday Joy holiday card sign up is still open. There's a lot more information about it in the previous video, but this is the third annual holiday card sign up. And all you do is fill out the Google form that is linked below in the show notes, and I will send you a winter holiday card. There's no obligation to send one back. There's nothing else you have to do. That's it. If you would like to receive a holiday card in the mail, because I know it can be really nice to get something that is not junk mail or a bill in the post. And so I just want to send more joy out into the world, which is why it's called the Holiday Joy sign up. But it's linked below, more info in the previous video, but that's really all you need to know about it. I don't think that there is any other admin. So today we're going to focus on my three main whips. I haven't really worked on anything else in the past month except the three test knits that I have going. I actually tried to film an update last week and the footage was just rubbish. For those of you who've been here, you know that I started to film on my phone and I don't have a screen in order to check that I'm in frame. And a lot of what I was holding up turned out to not be in frame. I was also having to film in a different location because my neighbors were mowing or leaf blowing for like 3 hours and that was being picked up by the microphone. So it was just, I didn't end up thinking that it was something I wanted to put out there. I've saved the footage in case there's anything I need to interject into this one. So if you see me hopping back and forth between locations or outfits, then I've decided to put in some of the things that I said last week. But honestly, I don't even remember by now what I said. Before we hop into the whips, I'm wearing an old finished object. I can't even remember now what year I finished it, but this is the May by Andrea Mowry, and it is a tunic length sweater with, it's supposed to have quite a bit of positive ease. It had more when I originally made it, and it's also worsted weight, so it is thick. So despite being short sleeved and deep V-necked, it can get quite warm on a hot day. Luckily, I'm filming in the morning. It's not heated up yet, but despite it being November in Oklahoma, I do expect it to hit the mid 70s and be quite warm this afternoon. So as long as it doesn't heat up too quickly and I get like hot and sweaty, this is what I'm going with today, because I don't think I've worn it recently and it's so comfortable. It does slip a bit on the shoulders, and I have intended to add elastic to the inside of the neckline forever, and I just haven't gotten to it. But I just want to, everybody knows what the inside of a sweater looks like. I just want to run the elastic actually along the pickup edge, because I think that'll be the best place to reinforce the V and keep it a little bit tighter in. So otherwise, it was a great pattern. It knit up fairly quickly despite the all over texture. I don't know. I think it's been a couple of years, so I don't remember what size needle. I just remember it was worsted weight yarn, and this was a colorway by Subculture Yarns that I had wanted and ordered. So yeah, that's it for what I'm wearing. For the whips, I think I'm going to go in order of test knit due date. That doesn't mean that's the order I've spent the most time on them in, but it just seems like a logical choice of where to start. So I'm going to start with the Stella Quilt Cushion by Penrose, and that is due the 17th. So like really soon. So I need to finish it quickly. And I'm trying, I really am. But it is, I'm doing the Aran weight sample or test, and using size 8 bamboo needles. These are just old needles from back when I started knitting. I still don't mind using them though. It doesn't bother me. I know the cord's not the most flexible in the world, but they're tools and I don't mind having them on hand for when I need them. I can't hold the whole quilt cushion front out square for you right now because of the way it's on the needles. But it's got the big star on the front. And there are 2 different options in the pattern, 2 different star patterns that you can do. One of them I think is an Ohio star, and then I don't know the name of this one. But then the back is knit on the bias because that should keep it from stretching out of shape. So I'm currently on the back section and I'm not to the halfway point yet. But since it is Aran weight, it should finish up pretty quickly because I'm no longer having to change colors or weave in ends, so many ends. I have not trimmed them all the way down, and I probably won't because it's a quilt cushion, or it's a cushion cover. So it's going on top of a pillow, and everything will be to the inside. I have woven in everything or tied everything off as far as it needs to be, but I probably won't trim those ends down. And that way, as it's used, hopefully no ends work their way to the front or anything. I am doing the envelope style closure because this is all acrylic yarn, and I want to be able to wash it more easily with kids and a dog. And currently we have an indoor chicken because one of our chickens is sick and has to have oral antibiotics, and she's in a crate. She's not just like loose in the house, but let me tell you what a pain it is to give a chicken oral antibiotics. Anyway, with a menagerie in the house, and that does include the children, I just want to be able to wash it. So I am using the leftovers from my temperature blanket, and you'll notice I'm using the hot pink for the back. And my temperature blanket is, I love this yarn. I don't normally shop at Hobby Lobby, but I was given a significant size gift card by a family friend, and I wanted to use it up and not just let it sit. So I did use it to buy all of the yarn for my temperature blanket. So it is, I love this yarn in Hot Rose is the color that the back is in. And if anybody's curious, I can get the labels for the other colors and send them to you. There's only one color from the temperature blanket that didn't make it on here. No, 2 colors. The 2 of the warmer weather colors didn't make it on. But the reason I'm using the pink as the main color and the background is because I have finished all of the over 100-degree days for the year, and I fully expect that there will not be any more 100-degree days for the year. So I shouldn't need the pink anymore. Whereas I don't know if I will need the colder weather colors. And right now there is a whole lot of the purples being put into the temperature blanket. I am still about a month behind on it. I'm almost exactly a month behind at this point. I have gotten to the point where I'm able to do 2 temperature rows a day as it shrinks. If you haven't been here before, I am knitting a temperature blanket using the excavation blanket pattern. So it is knit corner to corner. July 2nd was the day that is the midway point of the year. So that is when I changed from increasing to decreasing. The blanket is going to end up the size of a king size bed. Probably. I mean, that's what it's looking like at this point. And I think that I'm through October 17th as of this morning, I believe. So I calculated if I continue to just do 2 rows a day, the day that I am back on track is actually December 20th. But I would like to be back on track quicker than that. So I'm going to finish out October doing 2 rows a day. And then because it should be so much smaller, if when I hit the November days, I can do 3 rows a day, I will hit my break even on December 1st, where I'm back on track and just doing the day before's row. And that would be perfect. I calculated all of this morning in the dark, so hopefully my calculations are correct. But that's where I think I am with the temperature blanket. So on track for finishing it at the end of the year, which is exciting because my son has already said that like New Year's Day, he gets to use it, which is fine. And it should be so big and snuggly that we could actually probably put all 4 of us under it if we wanted to. But I just really liked the idea of having a cushion to match it because I plan to put it in the living room. I've been trying to add things to the room to brighten it up because our house is completely shaded, trees all the way around, and it can get kind of dark in here. When we first moved in here, the walls were a much darker color, and so one of the first things that I had my husband do to brighten it up was to paint everything a much lighter gray, almost blue leaning, and then we had a brick colored accent wall because I know that was in many years ago. It is now like turquoise, and the furniture is kind of dark colored and heavy, and I'd love to change that out eventually. But for now, I just want to make bright things to put around to brighten up the inside of the house. Especially on those winter evenings where everything is dark early. I just like having bright colors around me. So the Stella Quilt cushion by Laura Penrose, I believe the release date for this pattern is November 24th. I do not know if that has changed, but I believe that Laura was saying it was going to come out November 24th. So be on the lookout for that. It knits up very quickly if you're not doing a bunch of other test knits at the same time. And it's fun to knit. It's just as addictive to work on as the Sweet Shop blanket, and I am still going to finish my Sweet Shop blanket for my bedroom because I really want it for my knitting chair, but I needed to prioritize these test knits first. So I need to finish the back of the quilt cushion. So that is kind of my carry along project right now because it's in a place where it does not require a lot of thought. And then next up for due dates is the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow, also known as the Crayabea. If you have not watched her podcast, you need to. I can't say enough good things. Her designs are amazing, and so the way her brain works must just be amazing. I cannot dream it into existence the way she does, and she's just so prolific. But I was so excited about this pattern when I saw it. If you've been around a while, in 2021, I got a yarn advent calendar called Bright Rainbow from the Creative Knitter. She is a dyer, but also now a brick and mortar store in Canada. And like I said, I love bright colors. So I got her advent calendar and I'd been hoarding it for the perfect project. And I had considered a bunch of different projects for it. Dragon Horde yarn. She has my favorite adventure or something sweater that I had considered for it. But when this cardigan came out, I know I've said before that I really want more knit cardigans in my wardrobe because they get the most use. They are the things that I reach for more consistently because when it's going to be cold in the morning, but I know it's going to be hot in the afternoon, wearing a pullover means I'm going to have to change clothes midday. But wearing a cardigan means that I can just layer when I need it and take the cardigan off when I need to. And so when I saw the Daft Days cardigan pattern, I was so excited and I crossed my fingers so hard for this test knit. because I had applied for the stick season test knit and did not get chosen. And I was so glad to get chosen for Daft Days. So as you can see, I have finished both sleeves. In fact, I just did the sewn bind off on the second sleeve this morning. And so now I am ready to do the button bands. So I will need to weave in a few more ends because I like to have the ends woven in before I do the picking up, just so that they feel more secure. It's a lot of ends, but I have started. I don't trim my ends until after a full wet block. So you can see where they are woven in though, and I just need to keep going. I did weave in the ends inside the sleeves, not down the sleeves, but when I did the back panel before I picked up for sleeves. So that part is done at least, and I know I don't have to do that. And on the first sleeve, I managed to keep up with stopping every 4 color stripes and weaving in ends for a while. So about half of those are done. So it's just, and I know there's other methods like braiding them and stuff. I'm afraid I wouldn't like a seam down the underside of my arm as far as like braiding the colors inside the sleeve. So I don't think that that's going to happen. But I probably would try that if it was like color work that was going down the inside or down the side seam, but not going to happen with this one. Anyway, I only had to remove 4 colors from the advent to get the right number of stripes for my Daft Days. And I held back 1 color that was actually day 1. So I started with day 2. I held back day 1 as my transitional color. If I got to the top and the length was short, that color went well at either end, and so it could have been thrown in as another color at the top, but it turned out my math was spot on. I steam blocked and checked my gauge like every few days as I went for the whole first side, and it worked out perfectly. So this is my Daft Days cardigan test knit for Rebecca Clow. It is due November 20th, which is so soon. So I need to do the weaving in of the ends and the button bands, and I'm going to work on that today because it needs time for a full wet block, and I want to give it a day or 2 to dry and have a day to take pictures. So I really want the button bands on and the buttons. Well, I won't sew the buttons on until after it's wet blocked and dried. So I want the button bands done and wet blocking by Friday evening. That's my goal. I did order some buttons, so we're gonna run to acquisitions real quick before we come back to other test knit. Sorry for any crinkling ahead of time. So I ordered buttons from Add Vintage, which was on Etsy, because all of my vintage sets of cut glass buttons were in sets of 5. Because I had ordered most of them when I was doing the Chantilly cardigan for Laura Penrose. So all of those button sets pretty much are sets of 5. So I didn't have enough because I need 6, of course, for this one. So I can't decide if I love any of these for this cardigan or if I'm going to end up putting one of these on for now to take finished object pictures and changing it out later. I don't know how well this is going to show, but I have these square bubble buttons that look like different size little round. I'm hoping you can see that, and I'm hoping it's in frame. So it's just all these raised little bits, but it's clear, and I like the way it looks, but a friend commented that everything else in the cardigan is already angular, and the square shape may just be too much angularness. I don't know. I would love to know what you think. And then I also got these little, I think they're mother of pearl flower buttons. And they are really close in color to the natural yarn that I'm using as my main color, but just a shade different. So I couldn't decide how I felt about those. And then of course I got a few other buttons just to hold on to for other things. I got some teeny tiny flower buttons, and now I can't remember what pattern I was looking at, but it was a cardigan pattern that called for 1/2-inch buttons, and it called for a bunch of them, almost like shirt buttons. So I have teeny tiny flowers. And then I have some spring green buttons that I got for when I use the spring green Nutiden that I have. I think there's somebody in the driveway, so I'm going to have to pause for a second and be right back. I have no idea what the dog was on about. And I have no idea why there was someone in the driveway. Hopefully they were just turning around. But back to it. So that was test knit number 2. And those 2 are both due super soon. But then there is test knit number 3. And if you've been here a while, you've seen it before, but this is, trying not to break my current ball of Nutiden. This is the Weekday dress by Aimee Sher. Hold on, and I'm getting it together to hold up. I promise. So this is the Weekday dress, and hopefully that is all in frame. The Weekday dress is knit in Nutiden, and I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but the colorway is spelled Favor, and the O has the 2 dots on the top. It was advertised or billed as a purple gray, which it is, but from a distance, it just looks like a dark gray, which is fine. Up close, there is quite a bit of color in there. You can find flecks of blue and flecks of red, and overall a purpley vibe. But I am doing the short sleeve version of the dress. And so on this sleeve, I am on the ribbing, but it's 2 inches of ribbing. On the body, I'm past all the increases. So I'm still working on the dress length, because the pattern length from underarm to right before you start the ribbing on the dress is 19.5 inches. And then there's 3 inches of ribbing for my size. And I'm doing the size 4. And I'm not sure if I'll go all the way to 19.5 inches. I'm going to finish the sleeves and then keep going on the body. But I am only 5'1", and I don't know what that is in centimeters. But I'm pretty short. And so I'm just going to keep trying it on. My torso especially is really proportionately short, and my legs are longer. So I'm going to keep going and keep trying it on, because I think if it happens to go all the way to my knees or past, that won't look right. So I do want it to stop. I don't know. I want it to stop at least a few inches above my knee. I don't want it to be short, but I think I'm just going to have to keep trying it on till it feels right lengthwise. It's been a joy to knit. It is a lot of stockinette. I know it's a lot of time just spent knitting around and around on the body, but the faux cables that are really just a lace panel were super easy and intuitive, and I enjoyed doing them. It actually made the yoke go fairly quickly because they were so interesting to do. And so overall, I've loved this. If you're looking for a knit dress, it does come in a pullover version also. The Nutiden is so lightweight. I mean, you can use any unspun or any yarn that you can get gauge with, but the Nutiden is just so lightweight. I know it's warm and it's going to be super warm, but that's why I chose to do the short sleeve, because for my climate, I feel like I would be overwhelmed with heat in the long sleeve version. I could see going 3/4 sleeve and being okay, but I'm doing the short sleeve. And I'm really enjoying it, but it's due December 15th. So I haven't put as much time into this one recently as I have put into the Stella Quilt cushion and the Daft Days cardigan, because it is pretty much all stockinette and a bit of ribbing that is left on this one. So it is easy to carry around. I know some people think Nutiden is difficult as a carry around project and that it's the kind of thing you keep at home because it breaks easily. But honestly, if you watch Aimee Sher's video about knitting with Nutiden and follow her advice, this is Nutiden held double in this one. If you go ahead and pre-roll it into balls that are no bigger than about softball size, it makes it really portable. I haven't had hardly any breakage trying to knit from the balls unless I have not bothered to take it out of the bag and it's gotten caught on another ball. And that's been the only reason. But if it does pull apart, it's so easy to put it back together and just, sometimes I wet it, sometimes I don't, and I just dry felt it back together, because you're basically just putting the unspun yarn just back how it was, and hooking the fibers together and keep going. So I found it very portable since it's mostly stockinette. I usually keep 3 or 4 balls rolled up in the bag with it at a time when I take it out with me, and I just find the one that's attached to my work and move it to the top if it has shifted around in travel. Set it on top of everything else, and I just am able to just sit there and knit. And this, I think I had to go down needle size or needle sizes. So I am knitting this on a US size 8, which is a 5mm needle. So it's on decent sized needles, and I do tend to knit tighter on sleeves, but I tend to knit very loose on Nutiden ribbing. So I've gone down in needle size, an additional size for the ribbing. So yeah, this is my weekday dress and I'm still loving it, and I really can't wait to have this. I think I've said it on here before, but like I said, I filmed last week and scrapped that footage. So, I mean, I really still have it, but I'm probably not going to upload it. So I don't remember what I've really said to everyone and what I just think I've said, but I'm pretty sure that I've said I would love to have this for my Christmas Eve dress. We usually dress up a little bit, but not too much, to have Christmas Eve dinner at my grandma's. And so I think like this with knee-high boots would be really cute for Christmas. I probably won't put long sleeves under it or anything for my grandma's house because it tends to be very warm there. But even if it's cold outside, I think a nice jacket over it and it would still be really cute. If I have the time before the test knit ends, once I've done a full block and seen how it changes, I may take out the neckline and go down even more needle sizes to get a tighter ribbing on the neck. It is a pretty open neck, which I do want. I want it to be open and not up high. But my ribbing is flaring just a little bit. It didn't once I steam blocked it and smushed it into place, but I just want to make sure that with wear, it's not going to like lift itself up again. I don't know that elastic would fix this because I think it would cinch it too much. If I tried to fix it with elastic, I would actually just do elastic on the sides and tie it off and not go all the way around, because I think it would make the neckline not quite right to go all the way around and it try and make itself a perfect circle. So I think I would actually only cinch it on the sides. But lots of things I can do there, and that is not a pattern problem. That is I can't figure out how to knit tight ribbing in Nutiden problem. So Weekday dress by Aimee Sher. I don't remember what the release date is supposed to be for this dress, or if she's even announced it. But the due date for the test knit is December 15th. So when I finish the Daft Days cardigan and the Stella Quilt cushion, this is like it until it's done. Like, I have to focus specifically on this and knock it out. Luckily, next week is Thanksgiving in the US, so hopefully I get a little bit of knitting time over that break. We do typically put up all of our Christmas decorations over that Thanksgiving break, and so I will want to spend some time doing that, and that is going to require a thorough house cleaning and decluttering, which is also going to take some time. So wish me luck on that one. I do have one acquisition other than the buttons that I was going to share. So let me set this aside. I have been trying not to buy yarn, but when all the stories started to come out about Woolen folk, and all the things to support the vendors and stuff, I had a really hard time resisting the urge to shop a little bit, but I kept it to a minimum. So, oops, I hit the fireplace tools. I ordered from Desert Panda Fiber Arts, and I just got 2 things. And they are both, neither one is yarn yet. They are both roving. This one is called Sea Glass, and it is 4 ounces of blue face Leicester. And my dog just opened the back door and let himself in. So I have to go close the door before every bug in the county decides to come visit. Okay, back to Desert Panda Fiber Arts, or Dye Works, or whatever. What did I say? Desert Panda Fiber Arts. Yes, I was right the first time. Anyway, so this is 4 ounces of sea glass on dark blue face Leicester. If you pardon the crinkling, I will take it out of the bag for you. Hopefully I can get it back in. So I was thinking something for my husband or my son with this. It says that it is approximately 25 to 27 micron combed top. It's moody greens, gray, even a little black. But I was kind of thinking mittens with this. So I think 4 ounces should be plenty to do a pair of mittens for either one of them, really. But I could always combo spin it with something else if I needed to. But this dark moody color just made me think of them. And I think that it's so soft and nice. Hopefully it spins up all pretty and could be a lovely pair of mittens. The other thing I got was a 4 ounce braid called Royal Rainbow. And it is a merino bamboo tussa silk 50-25-25 combed top. It is also 4 ounces. You can definitely tell that this 4 ounces is denser than this 4 ounces. So this is like so fluffy and lofty, and you can especially tell in the bags because there's no trouble zipping the top of this bag just because it's more dense. And this like keeps popping its bag open because it is so fluffy. So I thought Royal Rainbow would be fun for color work or for something for my daughter, or something for me. I love bright, but because it is merino bamboo tussa silk, it just feels more delicate. And I don't know if it really is, but it feels more delicate than the BFL. The BFL just, even though it is amazingly soft, feels like it would be harder wearing than the Royal Rainbow does, the merino bamboo tussa. But it's so shimmery and pretty that I can't wait to spin it. Even if I don't know quite what I'm gonna do with it yet, this will be a really fun spin. I will probably try to do a fractal spin again because I love how that comes out. I don't know that I really want to try to keep the colors separate and do chain plying or anything. So I'm thinking fractal spin, but not sure. I was definitely thinking a dark, moody fractal spin for this one, but also it would be fine with me to just spin the braid end to end and have long color shifts. So we'll see. I have not decided yet. The only other thing I got from the temptation just overtook me from that, seeing all the vendor stuff after the Woolen Folk disaster. I wasn't there, but just having watched and read so much about it. Botanical Yarns is in Great Britain somewhere, I think. Yes, because my stuff went out Royal Post. They had Advents still in their shop. And even though I have a DK weight Advent from Emma's Yarns waiting for me, and it's been sitting there since sometime mid-October, just waiting to get to December, I ordered the 5 full skein Advent set from Botanical Yarns, and it's not really a Christmas Advent, it's a countdown to New Year's. And so there's 1 full skein for every Sunday in December, all the way till the end. So it's been shipped, but it has not arrived yet. The inspiration pictures, though, were all these like prisms and reflective glass, and so I'm hoping from the Pinterest board inspiration stuff that they posted that the 5 colorways will go together like amazingly. And I was thinking it could be really fun to do a Le Pouf, which is a pattern from Hedgehog Fibers that you marl fingering weight yarns together the whole way to do the cardigan. And it's an open cardigan, no buttons, with puffy sleeves. And it just looks so comfortable and like it could be thrown on over anything. And I just think that it would be so fun to have a 5 skein Advent and just use that for the cardigan. Now, I can't remember yardage wise if it needs more than that, but I don't think so, because it's not meant to meet in the middle. It's meant to hang on the body, and it's fairly cropped. It's just the sleeves probably have quite a bit in them because they are poofy. But hopefully I can get it out of 5 skeins. If not, I will find a complimentary one to go with them. But I just thought that that would be really fun to have those 5 skeins from that Advent and to then use them, because I've been wanting to make that cardigan forever. So what are my plans once I get past test knitting? That depends. If I can get past test knitting and still have my sanity, I would like to make a couple of quick Christmas presents, but I have not decided exactly which ones to prioritize yet at this point. Since I gave my sister that giant shrug for her birthday, I'm thinking I won't be knitting her anything for Christmas. And I have the big fur hat that I had originally knit for my brother's birthday and never got to give him. So I have that held over for my brother. I would love to do a hot water bottle cover for my sister-in-law because I totally think she would use it. And Laura Penrose has just put into testing the cutest pattern for color work hot water bottle cover, and I would love to do it. I just don't know if I can get it done before Christmas. So we'll see. But as soon as we get past Christmas, I think the first thing post-test knitting, post-Christmas, that I'm going to do is go back to the Amapola cardigan because I have the yarn. I'm ready to do it. I love the color. I want to wear it. So I think that's where we're going next. But always knowing that something else could pop up, and we've got to follow the joy and the dopamine and just do what makes us happy. I have some serious thoughts about 2024 knitting and crafting in general, but I'm going to get into those in a later video. So hopefully stick around for the rest of the year, because I do want to recap a few things, and then I really want to talk about my plans and intentions for 2024. Oh, and the other thing that I really have been craving to work on and haven't been able to, because I really need to crack on with these test knits, is the spin for my son's sweater vest. Words escaping me. My son's sweater vest. And the more I've looked at the first skein that I finished plying for his sweater vest, I have a second skein ready to ply, like everything's spun up and I need to ply that. The more I'm thinking that our Easter color this year is going to be that purple that he picked out for his sweater vest, because I just think it'll be so cute to have him in his hand knit sweater vest and a shirt and probably a bow tie, and find a complimentary purple dress for my daughter. And I'm thinking that's going to be, so I'm trying not to put pressure on myself to have it done like right now, because I'm thinking they'll wear them for Easter, or that he'll wear that for Easter. So I do want to work on that though, because he does ask fairly frequently about it, and I know he'd get more wear out of it if I could get it done sooner. And then I am also looking at color work sweaters for my husband that I could use Nutiden with, because I have that beautiful, that yellow that I tried to make work for me and found I couldn't love it. But then once I ordered some Filcolana Tilia in the color Tapenade and put it with it, all of a sudden I loved the color. Not for me, I loved it for my husband. And now I have a dark purpley, not quite maroon color that looks really nice next to it. That I would love to do a little bit of color work, just a tiny bit, but I'm not loving the big color work yokes. So I'm thinking something more on the body, or where there's just like body and a tiny bit on the sleeves. I don't even know. If you have a color work men's pattern that you love, that's not a lot, because he doesn't wear things that are overly patterned, feel free to link that in the comments. But the other sweater that I want to knit for him is the stick season. And I need to stop myself now, because there's so much I could say about the things I want to do, but I want to save that. So thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please sign up for the Holiday Joy. I love sending out Christmas cards or holiday cards, winter cards. And hopefully I can keep on a semi-regular posting schedule, but you know, with Thanksgiving coming up, and then Christmas and New Year's, and the kids being out of school for the winter break, we will just have to see what happens. So let me know what you're working on, and if you need to find me or you have questions, leave a comment below or find me on Instagram. I am always happy to chat. My inbox is always open. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.